BITSian Day to all of you.
Absolutely. Happy BITSian Day.
Same to you. Same to everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Shrestha and Siddhant, your hosts for the event today. Thank you for joining us on the prestigious occasion of BITSians Day. Every year, BITSians Day is celebrated on the first Friday of August. Since its inception in 2013, it has grown in prominence with each passing year and has become an occasion which BITSians eagerly look forward to. A chance to reunite with old mates, forge new bonds, relive old memories, and make some new ones. And like each year, we endeavor to keep this legacy alive and take pride to make the event a memorable one. I would like to heartily welcome Dr. Sudhir Kumar Barai, Director BITS Pilani, Mr. Sachin Arya, Head Alumni Relations, Professor Rajiv Sakhuja, Associate Dean Alumni Relations Pilani Campus, and Professor Vicky Bats, Associate Dean Alumni Relations, Goa Campus. I would now like to welcome Professor Vicky Bats to grace us with a few words.
Thank you. Professor Barai, Professor Sakuja, Mr. Ishan Bansal, faculty members, staff members, student volunteers, students, invited alumni, ladies and gentlemen, it's my proud privilege to welcome you all to this wonderful event. And let me take this opportunity to wish you a very happy BITSian Day. You are aware that the world is going through an unprecedented epidemic. But one thing which you have to know that you are not alone. We are all in this together, and the truth is that we'll come out on the other side stronger, better, and more prepared. Today we have with us Mr. Ishan Bansal, co-founder Groww, who will share his success stories and his journey from Pilani to the Unicorn Club. So alumni participation and contribution is very important to us. Alumni participation and contribution is a key factor in deciding the ranking of a college and university. We at BITS Pilani understand this, and over years, we have established a very strong and symbiotic relationship with our alumni. I'd also like to take this opportunity to talk about our alumni network. BITS Pilani Alumni Network is one of the strongest networks in the world with chapters in all major cities of the world. We have BITSian in Bangalore, we have BITSian in Boston, BITSian in Amsterdam, BITSian in Europe, you name it, they have it. So join this group and stay in touch. Once again, on behalf of entire BITS Pilani family, I wish you a very happy BITSian Day. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So without further ado, please also welcome Vishan Vancil, the co-founder of Groww. Groww is an online investment platform that allows investors to invest in mutual funds and stocks. Being India's fastest growing investment platform, Groww made it to the Indian Unicorn Club. Ishan graduated from BITS Pilani with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering in 2009 and completed his MBA in finance from XLRI Jamshedpur. Before transitioning to being an entrepreneur, Ishan worked at prominent organizations such as Flipkart, ICICI Securities, and NASPER. We would love to hear from you, Ishan.
Thanks, Siddhant. Thanks, Professor, for kind of inviting me to this talk. This is highly I'm feeling a bit of a proud doing it, especially on the BITSians Day. And I would first of all like to congratulate everyone on having a BITSian Day, and this is roughly like a 8th year in running. And it always is a amazing feeling whenever there is a BITSian Day. Yesterday, we in the company also, there was a Slack group that was created, and I realized there are like 40 BITSian in Groww itself. So it was amazing feeling to kind of probably we'll have a lunch together after this talk and talk about our old days. But it's an amazing feeling to get connected with the alumni as well as the current students as well as the professors. So just to kind of talk about some of the things, the journey that I had. So I come from a relatively small place called Jeto. It's in Punjab. Coming to Pilani was not a significantly different experience that a lot of people would have seen. For me, it was very similar town. But amazing part that I really liked when I came to Pilani was the people around me, right? And the responsibilities that BITS actually give to their students. I'm sure a lot of these events are getting organized by the students themselves, which gives you so much exposure around you, and so much confidence also with what you can do, what you even try at the time when you are young. And those are the learning that stay with you for long, and which helps you in your various aspects from career, as well as if you're starting a company, that becomes even more important because you end up doing a lot of the things yourself. So my journey started with Pilani in mechanical engineering. I always wanted to kind of actually do a bit of research in mechanical as well. But during the college, realized actually I'm not a research kind of a person, and ended up actually getting a bit on technology side. Started doing courses on computer science. Actually got placed in also a computer science company finally. But during my last few semesters, I was one of the person who actually didn't have any course to do in my fourth year during my college campus, because I completed all my electives beforehand. And fourth year, I actually ended up doing some of the courses on finance side, which actually kind of intrigued a lot of my interest on finance side, and ended up actually doing a MBA in finance from XLR. I post that. Uh, some of it I would say is because my father used to do some work on this side, also kind of interested me. But doing those courses and electives and the kind of flexibility I had at Pilani also helped me kind of get into this field. uh, After that, moved to XLR. I was one of those guys who was a fresher from a engineering college directly going to MBA. For me, it was a extension of my college life, which was amazing. But at the same time, realized the things which were super comfortable and flexible on Pilani was not exactly the same when you get into MBA. Things are much more rigorous, things are much more challenging. But at the same time, the feeling of working with your co students is still there. And that's how even the culture there is actually somewhat similar, that people do it in some cases in engineering colleges as well. In MBA also, there are like a lot of group discussions. Yeah. So I was talking about Excel days. I think it was an extension of my college days from Pilani. But there was a lot of changes as well. It was basically now a lot more rigorous. Bits was much more fun. Uh, and from another thing that has happened is basically I went into more, I would say, specialized courses in finance, which kind of led me to get interested in something like investment banking, which I ended up joining in ICICI Securities. And after joining ICICI Securities, I actually realized investment banking is less about finance, more about sales. Uh, and That's one learning I have today as well, basically, and realize it's not just investment banking is about sales. Actually, most things are about sales. And one thing that everyone should learn this skill is to sell. If you can sell, then you can actually do anything in the world in the future. As an entrepreneur, you are always selling your ideas. As a business, you are always selling your product. So it's very important to kind of be good at sales and try to learn it as early in your career as possible. Post ICICI, I moved to NASPERS, where I was looking at M&A, and the reason was similar, that I wanted to be on the other side of the table, wanted to be on the buy side, which is called basically investing in companies from an investor perspective, which really helped me understand a lot of businesses, how they work, why they make money, why they don't make money, and how do you get new customers. uh, During that time, I actually got an opportunity to work with Flipkart. Uh, and I always wanted to work in a company from a tech perspective, as well as some place like Flipkart, because it always felt if I have to start someday my own company, I need people, right? And Flipkart was considered to be one of the best place to find good co-founders, which I ended up doing actually. That was a, I would say, interesting story. It was probably serendipity from that perspective. Me and Lalit one day was having lunch, and he told me, ki, okay, he's thinking to start something on investment side. Uh, and he was already working with Neeraj and Harsh, and kind of was in relatively, I would say, advanced space. That they were still kind of three people thinking about something. Uh, I told him, if you are doing something on investment, I definitely want to do it. The reason was basically, since XLR, I always felt there are so many people in India who have decent amount of money, but rarely anyone invests, and never really understood why. That was the problem wanted to solve, and got an opportunity someday at a lunch table with people like Lalit, Harsh, and Neeraj, and kind of jumped onto it, and said, "Ki, I would definitely want to like to join the team." That happened roughly, I would say, 6 years back. And after, I think, 3 4 months of that conversation, we ended up starting Grow. Grow has been kind of doing decently well, I would say. We were able to figure that problem out. Finally, we zeroed down on saying the reason a lot of people don't invest is actually because investing itself is super complicated. And if we can make it super simple, then quite a few people might try it out at least. And if they try it out, they might stick to it. So that was the broad idea, which worked really well. We started with mutual funds as a product, launched broking actually, which is stocks, around a year back, middle of COVID, which probably at that time was looked like we should have started earlier. But somehow, COVID people had more time to actually do stocks, and a lot of people jumped onto it. Today, Grow is one of the largest platform both in mutual fund as well as stocks. We've been introducing small products like US equities or gold, etc., on platform as well. Uh, that's where we are today, and we will like to kind of make more of those things even simpler, so that our next generation can actually able to try it out and then kind of stay for longer in investing, and over long term they will be able to build better wealth.
So moving further, let's just come to our questions, which is a bit like you must have known. So, regarding your life at Pilani, what was your first year at BITS like? And was there any special instance, or like a life lesson from your college days that you like categorically remember and which you stand by?
Okay, so I would say we first year in college was the best time. I would say the reason I is it's you get to meet so many people in a such a short period of time, right? We I was able to interact with probably 100 plus people just in first few months of joining the college, and you get to learn from each of them, and you end up, so if you look at the first year, all my sidees and my wingies are still my kind of closest friends, uh, and I will say, yeah, if they were not there, probably I will not be where I am today. So getting those get close friend circle is the, I think it's always happens in first year. It never happens. Most of your friends that you are kind of very close to will be there in your first year as well. So I think this is the best time to meet people, make friends, and probably for long term as well.
It was really interesting to know about Ishan. So let's move further. We all can agree that BITS is known for nurturing an entrepreneurial spirit amongst its students. So, what role, according to you, did BITS play in your successful entrepreneurial journey?
So I think the thing I was kind of alluding to as well, BITS gives a lot of responsibility on the students. Even in my times, I don't know if it's still true or not. We didn't have any attendance. We didn't have basically we were able to choose our own calendars. We were able to kind of choose our own courses, right? So this gives lot of confidence, according to me. Uh, and if you are able to manage your 4 years in a right way, then you feel that you have done it yourself, and that confidence actually helps you grow in the future a lot. So that understanding of your own time, managing your own time, doing things your own way, gives you confidence. At the same time, that's how the life also works, right? We in once you are out of your college and you are in your corporate life, people will not gonna plan things for you, and you have to do it yourself. And that learning is what I think got it from bits, and most colleges don't have it. Most colleges don't trust their student enough to kind of let them choose what they want to do.
That was really inspiring and a confidence booster for all his BITSians as well. We still have the zero attendance policy, and I guess the flexibility BITS gives is really, really great. So, diving further into your life at Pilani, we are well aware that clubs, departments, and co curricular activities are a crucial part of BITSian culture, but they're also undeniably a safe space where we make most of our memories. So, how active are you in these clubs, and do you have any stories about the same that you would like to share with us?
So honestly, actually, I was the way other kind of a person who were not part of any clubs, I think, till third year. In third year, I think I created a small group called Siam. It was basically to something on the mechanical engineering side. But that too, we went to a tech fest in one of the IITs and realized they were kind of doing something which was interesting. We tried to kind of create in Pilani. Other than that, but I would say it's not just about clubs or kind of you should. The best part is in college, especially you have so much time and you have actually nothing to lose, right? So if you try out new things, definitely every new thing will give you some or the other learning, and the learning that you can get at that time will be super cheap. So if when you get into a corporate world, the time becomes expensive. In college, time is effectively free. So you should spend as much time at experimenting things. I would actually, if somebody asked me, ki, okay, what I would have done differently if I knew what I knew today, I would have definitely started a company when I was in college, because doing this in college sounds difficult, but it's much more easier, and you don't need to think about so many other variables. Like, you don't have a family to support, you don't have a salary that is coming in which will stop coming, or you don't have a rent to pay as much as that you in if you're sitting in Bangalore. So there's a lot of benefits of sitting in college and probably starting a company.
So that was also very interesting. So like we've covered a lot of things. The one thing which I actually wanted to ask, like you told us about Blitz and how it trusts its own children, and they make them independent in that sort of way. But if there's like one thing that you think that makes Blitz stand out from the other education institutes, other than the fact that it trusts its children like the way you said, so what would it be like? What sort of a thing does it hold which is different from other educational institutes?
So I think I will still feel this kind of a network that BITS has. I remember there was a friend of mine who went to some conference in MIT, and that too during like a second or third year. And he was telling me that once he went there, there were BITSians who came to kind of receive him and give him all the SIM cards, etc., for him to actually kind of make his stay comfortable there. So that kind of a network, it's very difficult to get in any other college. And that kind of bonding also is very, very important for you to actually feel that you can actually do whatever you want to do in life. So I think that's again is a big strength that bits have.
Just like an announcement. If any of you from the audience have questions, please drop them in the chat box. So that's open. So now, sir, moving on to your professional life, it is often said that like you told us, that Flipkart provides an excellent environment for fostering entrepreneurial spirit. And the Flipkart Mafia has gone ahead to find some of the greatest startups in India. So, like, how was your experience working at Flipkart? Like, you had to tell us about.
So I would say when I went to Flipkart, there was a significant change in how people in Flipkart, how people used to look at the word and how I used to look at the word was very different. Two things I think which was amazing. One, having a customer focus, right? You should whenever you are doing a business, most of the traditional businesses think about how the business happens, but once in Flipkart, I realized everything is about the customer. So you always talk about why will customer do this? Why will customer not do this? Why will customer do this? And so those things basically, and which is effectively means customer focus and kind of giving a right service, right product to the customer at right time, makes the company or a brand even kind of highly valuable from a customer perspective, which is what builds a company. And the second thing which was amazing in Flipkart was also that culture of doing things, right? So there always used to be a bias for action. So if you are thinking something and not doing it, it's useless. So you have to think and then do something about it, right? And if you do it, it might work, might not work. That's okay, but try it out and do something.
It was really insightful to know about your experience at Flipkart, sir. So there's this very famous blog by Anderson Horowitz where they've predicted that in 10 years, every company will be a fintech company. So what do you think is the future of fintech in India?
So fintech, I think, is becoming like a very, very broad word over a period of time. So if you look at most of the companies, uh, a money movement happens from every company. Either it's to the vendors or is it to from the customers or to back to the customers, right? So multiple ways there is a money is moving. When money is moving, it's effectively payments, and every company is doing payments, right? So effectively what's happened is every company becomes a fintech from that perspective. But the way to look at is most companies, that's not the core product for them. For companies like Grow, actually it's all about money, so we become fintech from that perspective. But if you think about Flipkart, definitely the payments team that is sitting in Flipkart will be probably bigger than the payments team that is there in Grow. uh, but still Flipkart kind of is not a fintech, it's a e-commerce company, whereas they actually ended up creating a separate company called PhonePe, which became their fintech company. That's how things are working out, right? Everyone is trying to create a capability to make payments easy, to give access to money easy. And once they build those capabilities, some of them think about externalizing it. And once you externalize it, it becomes a fintech in itself.
Thank you for those invaluable thoughts. So another question I wanted to ask was, in 2021, we saw four fintech startups, Grow, Cred, Digital Insurance, and BharatPay entering the Unicorn Club. All of which they work in different sectors like investment, credit cards, insurtech, and QR payments respectively. So which sector do you think will be the next big thing in India?
So I think there are, honestly, first of all, we adding to the fact that we unicorn club is just a number, right? We, in the end of the day, any company in any segment, if they are a leader today, and if they are able to establish that they are a leader and are able to build a decent business model, can be a unicorn. It's not a big deal. It's not only about fintech. It's edtech also you can look at, right? With so many companies in education also became unicorns. They raised decent amount of money. They are probably one of the largest entities also today in India. There are a lot of other areas as well where there is a work to be done. So if you look at even ShareChat or Meesho, all of these companies have done really well. So it's about figuring out the right market and the right product, and the right business model. and show that you can actually scale it. After that, there is not much to stop you. So it's just about if you can service the customer in a right product. Again, coming back to the customer, serving the customer with the right product, right time at the right price, you can actually build a really big company.
Okay, so another question, sir. This is might be like a bit personal for you, but like, what is like the biggest challenge which you solved and you've gone like, okay, this is my achievement. Like, so you're very proud of solving that thing in your line of work. One
Uh,
big challenge.
so honestly, I would have done like so many small things. There is not one thing I can point out to, okay, this is what really I have solved. But one thing I have able to do well is able to associate or understand the customers that we have, right? So somehow, me coming from a smaller town, working in finance, but at the same time working in tech, as well as kind of me talking to people, when so many friends helped me understand the customer, I think decently well. I am able to relate when a customer, if there is any problem that a customer faces, that I will also face the similar challenges, right? So whenever we are building the product, we generally think about, okay, am I gonna use it or not? If I'm not gonna use it, most probably my customer will also not gonna use it. So those kind of things are able to kind of help me understand what to do and how to do it. We have actually, and that's we probably will get difficult over a period of time, but till now we are able to relate to our customers. That is one of the strength I think we are able to achieve.
It was really inspiring to know about this, sir. So, how did the tech side of Grow start off? Like, did your engineering background help somewhere, or was your business acumen the sole helper?
No, actually, engineering was a huge help, because when we started, we were just four of us, and Neeraj was like a CTO, but he was the only guy, right? So I also started coding at that time. During first few months when we started, I used to basically get all the what do you call it, the platform stuff from Neeraj, and then build the business logics. Because I did some OOP was one of the course I did in my college in Pilani itself, and I still remembered how to write code in Java. So I was able to kind of write some of the code in few first few months, but later I didn't get enough chance to kind of work on it more. I tried to learn things, but other things became more important over a period of time.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. So, I think one of the USP of Grow is easy and no cost investing in MF. How do you see customers trusting standalone companies apart from already big players like HDFC and ICICI Securities? How do you gauge the scale of growth of mutual funds investing in India?
So the way we have done it is to make a product which is really different, and even the customer was very different. So today, most of the customers that come on Grow are young people who are in their first job mostly, and for them, they don't even, first of all, they don't know how to do things on ICICI or HDFC. Second, even if they know, they feel probably Grow to be more cooler product as well. And in the end of the day, it's all about once you try it out, you feel you can't go back actually. So the product is literally built for a new customer who doesn't understand too many things but knows what to do.
That was also great to know, sir. So another question was, you said like once you move out of college, once you're in the work life, there are like a lot of other responsibilities which you have to take up. So I wanted to ask was like, being a co-founder of such a prestigious company and managing your other like work, how do you manage your work life with that? Do you have like a specific mantra or something which you follow to manage
So
everything?
honestly, I always felt that there is work and life are not different. So a lot of people talk about work-life balance. I always thought that work and life are both same. You have to have time to do all the things in your life. You can't actually just work or just enjoy, right? So the way things happen is, don't worry too much about, I would say, creating a balance, but at the same time be a cognizant of the fact that it's not we basically a sprint, it's gonna be a marathon. So you can't say, "Acha, I will just work hard for few months or few years and then I'll start enjoying my life." The way to do is parallelly enjoy a part of your life and in parallelly work hard as well. But what really helps me is ki I generally try to have some time in the day or in a week or in a month where I'm highly focused, and I try to have at least some 20-30% of my time, highly focused time on the work. And that is the time when I able, in that 20-30% of time, I'll be able to do my 80% of my job. So that is really important, to having that focus time. Earlier, I think when we started Grow, that focus time used to be like after 11 o'clock or 11:30 when everyone sleeps, to probably like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Now with family, that time has changed. Now my time actually is when I come to office. Before lunch is the best time for me to kind of focus. After breakfast and lunch is when I really focus.
Yeah, those were some invaluable thoughts, sir, and I'm sure everyone would have taken great value out of them. So, in your experience, what is the one differentiating and crucial factor that you think made Grow break into the unicorn club? Or what are the sort of bottlenecks to avoid stagnation that prevents a startup to being one of the market leaders?
So it's always is a kind of chasing metric. So the way we think about grow is how can we keep on growing bigger and bigger. Uh, there are multiple ways of doing it, but I would say it's just being a bit paranoid about that you are not stagnating, right? We instead of uh, get to basically, when you stagnate, it's very difficult to get out of it. But if you always think about ki, I am not getting into a case where I will stagnate, always kind of rethinking it at least 6 months, 1 year beforehand. How will I grow next year? Helps actually to have some plan. Well, again, things like COVID will never, you can't predict, but still, if you have a plan, the probability of you not getting stagnant is lesser.
So yeah, I think we would have learned something from that. So another thing, you talked about building a cool product, having something of value in market. So how important do you think is building a brand and design in a startup, other than the cool product part? How important is that aspect?
So it's actually one of the most important thing. If you want to differentiate on something like design, it requires you to have that kind of a design thinking. The way I think four of us think about product or think about how to build a product, we generally give a lot of weightage to UX. So that means, how does a customer gonna, if somebody clicks here, where will it go, and so on, right? So that's a one part of whole journey. The second part of the journey is, how does it look? The product should feel like I want to come back to it every day, right? So and that is what we try to build in our life as well. So we realize actually, it I would say it's more of a chance. We never thought ki we will make this as a real big value prop, but this is what our personalities, which kind of got reflected on the product.
I'm sure like somebody must have taken notes of that as well. So as a concluding remark, what would be your message or advice to the current Bitcoins, and the one thing like they should definitely keep in mind while they're at Bits?
Yeah, I think one thing which I already talked about is, this is the best time for all of you to experiment. Try to do as much as possible, whatever, wherever, try it out, because if you know what you want to do, it's much easier to achieve that. Than and we This is the best time to figure that out, what you really want to do. You can try out building companies, you can try out building products, you can try out doing research, everything you can do actually. Even if you want to do an MBA, just do bit of research, talk to people who have done MBA, talk to people, and that is again a brilliant time for you to actually talk to people, because a lot of people will be receptive to talk to you and kind of give you guidance today, which might be difficult in the later stage.
Thank you so much for sharing these invaluable thoughts with us, Ishan. I'm sure everyone here has derived great value out of all those insights. So that brings us to the end of the session. I'm sure everyone present here has enjoyed the event and derived value from it, learned something, and are taking back with them something. I would now like to welcome Professor Barai to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shrestha. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, happy BITSians Day to all of you. It's indeed great pleasure to be here for attending a lovely interaction session with Ishan. I think it just brings a lot of goosebumps in me, like as if like I joined this institute newly, and what are the things I have to figure out myself. It's a lovely interactions, and I must appreciate that the question answer session was absolutely really delight to hear. I'm glad that you've done a lot of homework before posing a lot of question to Ishan actually, and thank you so much, Ishan, for coming down and being part of this BITSian Days celebrations together and sharing your thoughts and experiences. On behalf of the Institute, I would like to thank Student Alumni Relations Cell and, of course, the Alumni Relations Cell. Always we just say, and you have very rightly mentioned about it, that the any BITSian who joins to this institute, the best time to figure out everything is that during your tenure over here, because that is the time which is actually you can bank on your friends, you can bank on your seniors, bank on your alumni, and so on. And the biggest word what you said is very nice. That is a network. And network is absolutely the key of the BITSians. I fully agree with you. Whatever the statement you made about it, other colleges than this, I think the BITS has absolutely stands out in among all the academic institution in the world, because the BITSians are everywhere. And I always use this statement for everyone. I just say that the BITSians heart beats for BITS. Always, that's a remarkable thing. Wherever I go, whichever place I interact with people, always I hear good things about only BITSians, and that is, and the one of the reasons of being BITSian is that the USP is the simplicity. They are very grounded. They are very solid, and they have a solid critical thinking and the kind of a problem solving, going for the challenges. And this is something which is I think the real USP of BITS. You mentioned very rightly about one of the things is that the BITS gives you a lot of freedom, and that's really true, because whether it's thinking about academics or thinking about taking your choices and so on, and at the same time you also mentioned that makes you more confident to be more responsible, and that is always we say that the freedom comes with a lot of responsibility. And that is where actually it is very, very important that we enjoy this freedom, but at the same time be a very responsible, and not only for self but for the family, for the society, and at large, I think, to the community to whom we want to contribute. And of course, the BITS has been always on forefront for creating the socially relevant citizens, and that is the most important part of it. So once again, I think it's a wonderful to have you here, Ishan. Somehow we have a connections in different ways. I'll talk to you later on a different platform, but because you mentioned about XLRI, so maybe sometimes we'll talk about it. Just on a closing note, I wish to say that at BITS Pilani, as a new initiative, we have started a program on MBA in business analytics, and it would be great to have your support and the networking, so that it will really help not only this program, but also through this program, whatever the new curriculum and new directions which we are going, where our FD and HD student will get benefited, because they also need to kind of, as you have moved from the bits to XLRI and learn more thing about the finance over there, maybe the fintech becomes an integral part of their curriculum here as well. So we look forward to have your support. And once again, thank you so much for being here. And thank you once again to Students Alumni Relations Cell and Alumni Relations Cell Office of our Dean Alumni Relations. So it was wonderful hearing all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Barai.
Thank you so much, sir, for those words. So yeah, I would like to present a vote of thanks to everyone who joined us today. A special thanks to Ishan for taking out time of his busy schedule and like coming and joining this meet. So yeah, thank you everyone. It was a pleasure hosting you all, and have a very, very, very good BITSians day. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good BITSians day to everyone. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ishan. Thank you, everyone.